In this lesson, we're going to be talking about solving linear equations in one variable. Now, when we solve a linear equation, we want to work order of operations backwards. So, order of operations, when we simplify, we do parentheses first, then exponents, then we take care of multiplying and dividing from left to right, and finally, we take care of adding and subtracting from left to right. But when we solve, we work those order of operations backwards. We're undoing those order of operations. Okay, so taking a look at the first example, we have 9x minus 7 equals negative 7. So I'm first going to add 7 to both sides of this equation. It's going to give me 9x is equal to 0. So our next opposite operation, this says 9 times x. So I'm going to divide, use that inverse operation. And x equals 0 divided by 9, which is 0. So thinking back to that last video, this is a conditional equation. It's true for just that single value. Okay, looking at number 2. I know I had just mentioned that we work order of operations backwards. This one's a little tricky because there's an imaginary set of parentheses around that numerator because we're not just dividing the 5 by 6 or the x by 6, but we're dividing that whole entire expression, 5 plus x divided by 6. So parentheses we do last. So we do have to get rid of, there's no adding and subtracting that's not inside parentheses. So that's out. So we have to get rid of any multiplying or dividing next. So this says 5 plus x divided by 6. So inverse operation would be multiplying both sides by 6. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. And on the right-hand side, 6 divided by 6 divides out. That was the purpose. And we're just left with the expression 5 plus x. I don't really need the parentheses anymore because that is the only thing that's on the right-hand side. So I can drop those parentheses, and the inverse operation to solve this for x is now addition. Well, the operation shown is addition, so we're going to subtract in order to solve. We get x equals negative 6 minus 5, which is negative 11. All right, looking at the next example, it does have parentheses. I could divide both sides by 2 here. I typically distribute the number through to the parentheses. Either way, you would get the same exact solution. It does not matter what order you do those in, but I do like to just get rid of the parentheses right away. So I'm going to multiply 2 times this whole expression or distribute the 2. So 2 times n is 2n, and 2 times 5 is 10. So now the parentheses are gone and I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to subtract 10 to get rid of that addition. So we get 2n is equal to negative 12. And dividing both sides by 2, we get our solution, n equals negative 6. Likewise, I'm going to distribute, but this time it's a negative 5 that we're distributing. So that sign is always in front of the number and it stays with the number. So I'm going to get 4m. When I distribute the negative 5 to the 3m, that's negative 15m. And the negative 5 to the positive 10 is negative 50. I'm going to combine these like terms next. They're not on opposite sides, so we're just doing exactly what it says there. 4m minus 15m is negative 11m. Bringing down the minus 50 and the 126. Now I'm going to start my inverse operations of adding 50 to both sides. And then dividing both sides by negative 11. I'm going to get the solution m equals 176 divided by negative 11 would be negative 16. So there's my solution. All right, number 5, another set of parentheses that I'm going to distribute. We would get negative 4k plus 10k minus 12 is equal to negative 3k minus 39. I'm going to combine these like terms, so I would get 6k minus 12 is equal to negative 3k minus 39. Adding 3k to both sides of that equation. 9k minus 12 is equal to negative 39. Adding 12 to both sides, we get 9k is equal to negative 27. And dividing both sides by 9 gives me my solution, k equals negative 3. All right, number 6, another set of parentheses. So I'm going to be distributing that first. Negative 7 times negative 6 is positive 42, and negative 7 times positive 8 is negative 56n. No, oh, I do have a set of like terms. Just kidding. So negative 16 plus 5n is equal to 45 minus 56n. I'm going to add the 56n to both sides. That would give me negative 16 plus 61n, oops, n, not m, is equal to 45. I'm going to add the 16 to both sides. So I get 61m. Sorry, that's an n. Let me change that right now. N is equal to 45 plus 16 is also 61. Dividing both sides by 61 gives me my final answer of n equals 1. All right, and the last two examples. Again, we're going to distribute the negative 5 to everything inside. That would give me negative 15 plus 20x is equal to, I'm going to go ahead and combine those like terms right now. So negative 15 plus 12x. I'm now going to subtract 12x from both sides. So we get negative 15 plus 8x is equal to negative 15. Adding 15 to both sides gives me 8x is equal to 0. Dividing both sides by 8, we get x equals 0 as the solution. Okay, number 8, there are two sets of parentheses, so I'm going to take care of distributing both of those in this same step. All right, combining those like terms, we would get 9x plus 12 on that right side. I'm going to subtract 9x from both sides. So negative 8 minus 7x is equal to 12. Adding 8 to both sides of that equation, we get negative 7x is equal to 20. And dividing both sides by negative 7, I'm left with x equals 20 over negative 7, or negative 27 as a fraction, improper fraction.